You jazzy. You everything a man could ever want. Girl, you jazzy. You not about that drama. You loyal and classy. You jazzy. And all these other niggas shoot the shot, but you ain't having it. Girl, you jazzy. And I love you to the moon and back, baby. Girl, you jazzy. You everything a man could ever want. Girl, you jazzy. You not about that drama. You loyal and classy. You jazzy. And all these other niggas love you to the moon and back, baby. Girl, you jazzy. Yeah, I'm talking about you, baby. I gotta tell it all. I'm the greatest, that shit undebatable.
It's going down, ladies. He said he about to make you tap out at 9 p.m. Cut your radios up, fix your face.
Good luck, though, bro. Appreciate it, everybody come that shit. Yeah, do my best too, you feel me? This man, Mr. Incredible. That's what I call him.
What's happening? It's your boy, the big old black Ric Flair, Osker D. Don't ask me what the D stand for. Ask your mama. And I'm kicking it here with Jazzy Mango on the Red Carpet Lounge. Oh, y'all can also follow me on social media. Everything is Osker D Nation. OSKERD Nation. One name.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jazzy Mango, and welcome to my new show, Unleashed Truths. This is where we get deep down and dirty into the lives of our entertainers and entrepreneurs. So today for our first show, we have Mr. Osker D in the building, and I'll let him introduce you a little bit more personally.
Y'all know who it is. It's the big black Ric Flair, Osker D. The heavyweight champion of R&B. Man, I'm about to be the heavyweight champion of entertainment.
That's right, period.
You know, listen, I'm coming.
So Osker, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna be honest. At this point in my life, I'm probably at the happiest time in my life because things are finally coming together and I'm able to see it. And you know, when you get to a point where it's a lot of trial and error. You're gonna do trial and error to the day you die. But it's to a point now where I see my moves that I'm making. I calculate things and I move that chess piece and then I see the reward from it immediately. Like, oh, you did this right. You're on the right path. Now I'm starting to see it and it's really making me happy.
So, you know, bringing up a time when Osker D wasn't in this space, where did that derive from? You said this is the happiest time in your life, but give me a time where it wasn't so happy.
Well, I'll be honest. I have been single for quite some time now. My last relationship I was in was in 2013. So I've been by myself since then. And I'll say that the last relationship was like the time when I was, you know, broken. You know, I was really broken. I was, it's funny, I had a conversation with my ex, and we were very, you know, cordial with one another because I have no hard feelings towards her. Right. I did at one point, but I matured and, you know, I understood that we both made mistakes in the situation and we're both accountable. What impressed me about her was, you know, her accountability in the situation, and she broke it down, you know, and I've forgiven her a long time ago, you know, and it was a lot of things in that situation that kind of broke me down, and it took me a while to heal from that. You know, it made me afraid to open myself up to a woman in that way, you know. I'm still cautious,
right?
You know,
right?
Because, like at this point, if I see red flags, I'm out. I'm not gonna overlook them anymore. I overlooked a lot of red flags in that situation, and it was hard because I'm this starving artist, you know, in love with this woman, loving her kids, treating them like they're mine. We living together, we paying bills, going to work, and I'm struggling trying to make it, right. And I'm trying to create a balance between that and a love life, right, and real life, right. You know, and I felt like I was doing a great job, and I gave her a lot of my time, and you know, my mistake, I feel like I expected her to manage my happiness.
And I was going to ask you, and I'm going to stop you there, because a lot of the times when we get into relationships, whether it be romantic or business-ships, there's things inside of us that we're looking for somebody else to bring out. And growing up as a child, for where you were then, what mental state allowed you to be able to tolerate the abuse that you went through? Because that's what it essentially is.
Honestly, it was growing up, I didn't go through the struggles that I see most, the stories that they have. Like, I never experienced poverty until I moved here and like was on my own. Then I knew what poverty was, because growing up I never knew that. My parents were both working. My parents both had money. I grew up kind of wealthy, you know, and sheltered in a way. Right. You know, I went to the private school. They took me out of public school. I got kind of banned from public school as a child. And you know, I was kind of away from the complete streets growing up. They didn't want me. I couldn't go on the other side of town because they were shooting people every other day there. So my mom was like, no, we're going to give you everything in the backyard. Full court basketball, football. So kids came over and played with me. My yard was the spot. Right. So everybody came over and kicked it with me. So I didn't get into those troubles that most kids get into. But at the same time, growing up, you know, I was the only black in school for so many years. I think the first thing that got me as far as the relationship thing was, I remember I had this crush on this little white girl. Her name was Sheila Borgononi. And I was just so I had the biggest crush on her. And I wrote this letter, and I wrote song lyrics. I wrote Guy, Piece of My Love. Okay. And I wrote the lyrics to her. And I gave it to her. And I'm like, oh, I hope everything works out. And all of a sudden we're at recess, and it's this big circle. And I go over, and they're laughing because she let everybody read the letter and like was making fun of me and stuff. Right. It tore me up. I just, like, I was so embarrassed, you know. That was the beginning, and it kind of killed my self-esteem. Right. And over the years, I just became reluctant to approach girls. I had never been the kind of guy that walk up and say, hey, I think you nice looking, you know, can I get your number, stuff like that. I've never been that guy. I'm not even that type of guy to this day. Right. Like, but with that, I didn't have the experience of understanding rejection and things like that so much. So as I got older, my parents had a laundromat, and my cousin Carla used to work in that. She used to press clothes, iron. She was amazing. She was an amazing older cousin of mine. But I asked her one day, my head was down. She was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't understand girls. And she was like, what do you not understand? I was like, nothing. I said, I'm petrified. I like girls, but I don't want to. I'm scared to say something to them because I don't think they like me. And she was like, okay, you come in here every day. I want you to come in here every day, and I'll teach you something about girls. And she did. Every day I came in, she would teach me something different about girls, the way women think, you know, from her perspective. And I learned a lot. That's why I can say that at this point, I know a lot more about women than I think most guys do.
Yeah.
Because I learned from a woman and I learned from women about them. And there are certain things that I can see that I know for sure is a sign of certain things.
Right.
You know, because I would see things and I would go back to her and say, hey, what does this mean when she did this? And she'd be like, well, this means that. That means you need to do this. Or that means you need to back off. Or, yeah, she's not interested in you. Or she does like you. You better say something.
Right.
You know, so getting old and older, you know, when I met this girl, you know, I had never experienced being with someone with kids and the father was 12 miles down the road and he's an ignorant person and, you know, he doesn't want her to be happy and she was damaged because she was abused by him and I didn't understand how delicate the situation was to where I should have been more thoughtful, I guess, on how I approach things because I just assumed that what she said, when she said she was okay, I should have known that she wasn't.
Right.
Things like that. Doesn't give her any excuse because
absolutely.
an adult, you don't treat people the way that she treated me. And she knows that. Like, I was genuine with her. Like, and she wanted me to, it's like at this point, she wanted me to be this savage. But what I think what eats her up is she knows that I didn't cheat on her. None of that. Like, I didn't, you know, and I treated her like a queen, but she wasn't acting like a queen. Right. And she knows that.
So another trying time that happened in your life was the passing of your father.
Yeah.
I know in a way that drives you, but it could also like send you into a depression. And I watched a show where you said like it took you a long time to grieve that, and you feel as though you don't grieve like the normal person.
Yeah.
And you still grieving now. You know what I mean? Which, you know, I never lost anyone, but my mom lost her mom, and I know that every time it comes around, she's either really moody or mean, or something's going on. So like, I feel like you'll never grieve that.
It never gets easy.
Right.
Like, grieving is very important. Like, it took me about 3 years to grieve, to actually begin to grieve. And it's like it never gets easy. Like, it'll be days when, like, just a random day, and I'll just think, like, if I'm really happy or if something's bothering me, and I think, like, damn, I know in this situation I gotta just ask my dad, and he would know exactly what to do, you know. And then reality sets in and it says, well, he's not here. You can't ask him that. People will tell you all day, he's watching you. And I believe that. But it's a difference between being connected spiritually and that person actually sitting like we're sitting. And he's saying, hey son, I watched you do this, and like, yeah, you're doing this the right way, or no, you should do it this way. You know, it's a difference.
Who was your father to you?
Man, Superman. Like, every childhood superhero for a child, that was dad. That was dad. Like, he was bulletproof. He was fast. He was the fastest thing in the world. He could fly. It was nothing he couldn't do. Like, and then on top of that, I watched him treat my mother like a queen. Like, it wasn't a front. He wasn't doing it in front of me, and then when I wasn't around, back slapping her and stuff like that. No, it was genuine. Those two people genuinely loved each other. I watched it because they showed me the same love. My father, not a day passed, he didn't look at me, take his hand, rub my head, top of my head, or say, I love you. Love you, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we showed each other love.
Right.
And I know what love is.
Right.
Like, I know what being attentive and affectionate to a person that you care about, you know, a person shouldn't have to ever ask for that. You should be able to give that to them because it's real. I don't give a damn if you had to say it 100 times a day. You're going to say it because you mean it and you're going to show it too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So, and you being an artist and moving from Arkansas out to the DC area, you said like you were starving. So like, how did you navigate that? Like, because this is just a lot. And I mean,
So
like, what was your lowest point?
So it was choices that had to be made. In high school, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do a damn thing as far as grades. I've always been highly intelligent. Like, I have the IQ of 144. I've taken the IQ test about 6 times just to keep checking, and it's 144,
Right.
which is on the cusp of being a complete genius, but a point shy of being a genius. I do genius things. Okay. But coming up, of course, they suggested that I skip grades, and my parents were like, no, let him grow up organically.
Right.
And I'm glad they did that. Who wants to be in college at 12?
Right.
I can't, yeah, I can get the
grades,
work done, but
your mental
I can't
is
have
not there.
fun. And
Right.
I'm not on these people's level.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So when I left high school, I decided I wanted to go to college. So I had to wait a year because I had to get myself together. And I ended up going to college. I got a degree in music. And when I finished, it was like, okay, this is the plan. I'm doing music. I'm in a rap group, 6 people. Trickled down to 2, me and my brother. And it was a decision that had to be made. We were making music, and one of my cousins were living up here. Well, they moved up here just for the summer to live with some other relatives, and he had our music on CD. So they heard it, and they was like, who is that? And they were like, this Osker D and Julius. Man, put them on the phone. So they called, and they were like, man, y'all are really good, man. I know some people that can help you out. So we had been doing some pipelining jobs, good high-paying jobs, stacking our money. Our plan was to stack the money up and move to Atlanta because we knew Atlanta was popping.
Right.
And we knew if we get to Atlanta,
It's a wrap.
it's a wrap. We're going to get a deal. We're going to be a hot rap group out. Boom. So we come up here. We try our hand with, and this is back when it was around the last bit of time where you could go in a phone book and like find record labels and like go submit a CD, So we calling record labels and stuff around here and like trying to set up appointments, and we had no luck, until like the last couple. It was like the day before we were getting ready to get back on the Greyhound bus and go back to Arkansas, because we had a job where we was gonna go to Seattle and we are gonna make $35 an hour, stack our money up, and just go to Atlanta. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was just feeling really down because I just felt like, man, we came out here and we accomplished nothing, And my brother was on the porch outside, and he comes in and he's like, Osker D, I need you to do one thing for me. I'm like, what? He's like, I need you to take this phone and sing. Like, just sing. So I get the phone and I started singing some Maxwell, because that's like my favorite R&B singer. I love him.
Amazing,
Like, I know all his songs. Like, I just modeled myself after him at one point in time. But I'm singing, and the dude on the other end is like, oh my God, y'all gotta get over here now.
Next time on Unleashed Truths.
He's got the biggest studio I've ever seen in my life. The booth, you could fit 10 people in it. It was a shotgun booth with mics everywhere. You could put Destiny's Child in there and they could cut a whole record right then. I don't think I'd be alive. I really don't. I think I would have gone, we would have gone to Atlanta, and I think I probably would have gotten killed or something. I don't think that was, I just feel like that wasn't the right path. And I don't think God would do that to me. Right. God told me to come here.
Right.
You okay?
I'm fine.
You sure? What happened?
This officer, he like put me up against the wall and handcuffed me, and then he tried to get some free fills on.
You know his name?
I think it was Officer Ralph.
Oh yeah? Don't worry. I'm gonna take care of his ass. Come on. Let's get out of here.
Can come between us now, yeah. Hold you down to the top. We're climbing now, yeah. Hold you down. Nothing else can come between us now. Hold you down to the top. We are climbing now. When things are good or things are bad, one thing remains. When things are good or things are bad, one thing remains.